Joe Mafela, 75 years old at the time of his passing over this past weekend here in Johannesburg, but still gone too soon. Yesterday afternoon, we spoke to Roberta Durrant from Penguin Films. Now, she worked on a number of productions with Mafela. Here's what she had to say.
When you met Joe Mafela, anyone who met Joe, you knew you'd met a special type of energy. He was a very giving person. I think that's why he always had humor around him, because he was a sympathetic person. So we had I had this idea to do a series. It was actually called It's a Woman's World, because I had worked with Sis Daphne and Sis Tembi, and then later Sis Gloria came into the picture. But we realized there needed to be a male energy in the story. And then came the idea of this lodger. Then Joe, I was introduced to Joe. And when I met him, I just knew that this was going to be Stumo. And that character of Stumo, we did all those episodes of Scooty's Nice. We all came from the theatre. I was an actress in the theatre. And so we rehearsed all 13 episodes of Scooty's Nice like we were going to have an opening night. And then we went into a studio, we recorded all 13. And I don't think we realized at the time the effect that comedy would have. And I think it was because at that time, when we're talking 86, I had recently come back from London, because I left in 76. And I don't think we realized at the time the effect of the comedy. And I think people really had a need to laugh at that stage. There was a lot of stuff going down. And that same character we then pulled through into Going Up. Because basically the characters of Stumo and Jabu and can't remember now what the character was in Khululeka, but basically they were more or less the same character of an everyman. The character represented every man, any man who was trying to make ends meet, who was trying to make sense of his surroundings. And so we did Scooty's Nice, and then we went on to do Going Up with Rex Garner. And, I had a very close relationship with Joe because I directed him. I directed those episodes. So, we worked very closely together in that particular period of time. And then from there, we were approached, in fact, by the Matla Trust, which was a trust fund set up by the late President Mandela to educate first-time voters. And it was quite a sensible idea because we were able to construct something where we could introduce voters to democracy through laughter. And that's what Joe did so well with that character, because people knew him and they loved him. They loved that character. So then we did Khululeka, and in that way I regard that Joe was around at a certain very important time in the history of the country, had a very specific purpose to play within the context of South Africa as we went through the transition. He had a gift. He had a wonderful comic gift, and he shared it generously with everybody. Sorry, it's very emotional for me because I just didn't expect that it would end so suddenly.